The cushy job at Aniline Film just didn't satisfy Jack. He needed more. So he resigned in 1955 to resume his love affair with aircraft again. Jack still had a great love for flying and designing innovative aircraft. His next endeavor was the forming of the FRYE Corporation based in Fort Worth, Texas. Jack in his later days with TWA had another vision he was toying with that would have taken TWA to South America, but he never had a chance to put it in play. He designed a new short takeoff and landing airplane called the Safari. This airplane had the capability to take off and land in the jungle environment with ease and efficiency. It was a transport plane, but it could also be converted to a passenger traveling sightseeing aircraft with all of the amenities. By 1959, Jack had a prototype built by Northrop and was acquiring new orders and investors, putting in over $4 million to begin breaking ground on the new manufacturing facility he had planned in Tucson, Arizona. He had also worked out a deal with a company called the Helio Corporation, based out of Pittsburgh, Kansas. They had a cute two-man short takeoff and landing airplane Jack just loved. The plane could literally take off and land within 75 feet of runway surface, a remarkable capability. He has been quoted as saying, "This is the safest airplane in the world. Someday I'm going to crash it into a brick wall and walk away to prove it." There are videos online of the Helio design that shows the airplane as if it is floating in for a soft landing and comes to a stop in less than 100 feet. Jack's idea was to build this plane in the Tucson facility along with the larger Safari transport, thus creating a line of short takeoff and landing type aircraft, thereby opening up a whole new direction in aviation. The man had vision all the way up to his final day with us. Sadly, Jack FRYE, the great, unassuming, supremely successful aviation pioneer, was tragically killed in an auto accident by a drunk driver running a stop sign in Tucson, Arizona. This occurred on February 3, 1959. He was only 54 years old. As quoted by Serling, "A leader Jack FRYE was, and his gambling instinct was part of his leadership, even though, in the end, it betrayed him. Until the cruelties of high-power finance caught up with him, FRYE and Howard Hughes formed one of the greatest teams in aviation history, and their names will be forever linked." The month of February has some bizarre coincidences related to Jack FRYE that are interesting to note. And here are some of them. He started Standard Airlines in February. His dramatic flight with Eddie Rickenbacker in the DC-1 was in February. He set a transcontinental speed record in the Constellation in February. He left TWA in February. And his death was in February. The car that killed him came out of a side road that led from the factory complex. It was called the Hughes Access Road, and the factory was the Hughes Aircraft Company. And Howard Hughes died in February. The following is a partial list of FRYE's records, awards, and achievements. Presidential Medal of Merit awarded by Harry Truman in 1946. Grand Officer of the Crown of Italy, 1946. Inductee, National Aviation Hall of Fame. Inductee, Oklahoma Aviation and Space Hall of Fame. Inductee, OX5 Aviation Hall of Fame. Inductee, San Diego Air and Space Museum. A record he'd placed in February of 1934, Los Angeles to New York, flying airmail 13 hours and 2 minutes. Record in May of 1934, Los Angeles to New York airmail, 11 hours 31 minutes. Record February 1936, Chicago to Washington, D.C., 2 hours 22 minutes. Record in April of 1944, Burbank to Washington, D.C., 6 hours 58 minutes non-stop. Record in February of 1946, Burbank to New York, 7 hours 27 minutes. Record in February of 1946, largest number of passengers carried, that being 50, including the crew. A record of November 1926, altitude of 12,000 feet plus. And then there was a record in September of 1929, a staggering altitude of 22,680 feet plus. He won a prize in 1925 in May on a dead stick landing contest in Long Beach, California. He took first place. A U.S. patent, June 1952, a heat sealing device. U.S. patent, October 1952, a heat sealing tool. U.S. patent, 1953, plastic sheet sealing device. And this is related to the very first onboard TV dinners that were sealed. U.S. patent, June 1954, static electricity inhibitor. U.S. patent, February 1953, a jet engine stationary power plant. U.S. patent, July 1952, bilge water ejector. U.S. patent, April of 1953, convertible furniture base. U.S. patent, April 1952, one of the very first ever cartridge film cameras. U.S. patent, November 1954, magnetic fluid transmission control. And a U.S. patent in August of 1956, a heat seal cutting device. He was a great business leader of the 20th century through the Harvard Business School. He was noted as America's most noteworthy citizen 5 times. Listed in the International Motion Picture Almanac. Is listed in the Who's Who in World Aviation, 1955. And in the U.S. Army Engineers, he was the rank of lieutenant, 1921 through 1922. And in the U.S. Navy Reserves, rank of lieutenant, 1934, and resigned as lieutenant commander. First pilot's license, 1925, awarded by the state of Arizona, his first private pilot's license, Arizona number 1, the very first license in that state. Pilot's license, only pilot of his day to hold a national transport pilot's license, number 933. President of TWA, 1934, youngest president ever of a major airline company. And president of TWA, only passenger flying president of a major airline company ever. Club member of the Army and Navy Club, club member of the Cloud Club, club member of the Family Club, club member of the Kansas City Club, club member of the Propeller Club, and club member of the Wings Club. He was a member of the Academy of Political Sciences, a member of the Institute of Aeronautical Sciences, a member of the Society of Automobile Engineers, or SAE, member Alpha Eta Rho Aviation Fraternity, founder of the Conquistadores del Cielo. And finally, the dedication by President Harry Truman, after his death in 1962, of the Jack FRYE International Training Center in Kansas City, Missouri. Well, I hope you've enjoyed and learned more about our pioneering aviator, Jack FRYE, the man who built the airline industry's pioneering company of its day, beginning from his boyhood dreams to fly. That he did in a magnificent way into the annals of aviation history, never to be forgotten and always remembered. Be sure to visit us on Facebook and the Jack FRYE blog.